All right, yogis. So when we start standing, it is good to take that kind of meditative intention. So just for a moment, we do stand up nice and tall. It doesn't have to be very long. Maybe a breathing exercise, an intention setting, if that's something you're working on developing. Yoga is all about intention. That's what the poses kind of represent, the cues, the corrections, just setting more intention and following that intention. Controlling your attention, keeping on the body, concentrating, these mental aspects of yoga. So there's a very classic start to yoga, done in many forms. It's called the Surya Kriya. Remember, we usually start forward and back. So when you're ready, nice inhale, we reach up, little back bend, exhale, a nice slow hinge, reach for your toes. Inhale, you're going to slowly come back up, and exhale. Remember, there should be a quality of strength here, especially in the first few reps, but also a quality of stretch. So it's a nice merger. If you remember, last week we did something like this, if you need a little bit easier. Okay, so remember, hinge is one of our most foundational body movements. Hinge represents your hips flexing. So your legs don't change much, your spine doesn't change much. Everything is kind of happening here. It's kind of like you're going from plank to down dog. You can see this would be like a plank body, and this would be like a down dog body. So I often do that. You go from dog to plank. Last few guys, if you get into it and you're feeling good, you can go a little faster, a little bit more of a fluid, water type, air type approach, right? I've tried to mention that this exercise is used in the Kundalini, the Tantra. Tantra is a very different lineage. Sometimes people, because it's called Kundalini yoga, get that confused. Tantra is very, very different than Hatha. And then you see this in the ancient Chinese medicine too, at the Qigong. And then you see this in like the Jewish exercises too, right? Where they're going up and down, move the blood down, move the blood up, down, like move the blood. Yoga is often not adequate for movement, right? We need to move our body a lot. You have to have like 2 days a week where you're doing like peak movement. You're not intention of stretching, you're not intention of strengthening. It's like move that body more. All right. Next little movement here, guys. It's still forward and back, but it is asymmetrical. Inhale your arms up. Now you could just do hands on your hips. It could be just the hips. Or I pull the elbows down and back. I lift the knee up. Okay. Inhale. Opposite one. Now I'm squeezing the butt and the hip flexor. And here I even squeeze my butt like cobra now, right? It's kind of like this thing we do on the back or on the knees where you bring the knee to the elbow, right? In fitness, you might do like a high knee, right? Normal, you might jog and do a high knee. Same stuff. And you can like add squat, I had you. Same thing. Okay, if you want to be creative and feel something feels better or different. I often talk about this. It's a very clear aspect of self-love when you do things that make you feel good and, just feel good in general. It's like self-care, But that does have to be balanced with its opposite, because you can get into that pattern where you're only doing stuff that's feeling good. And that might be too far on one side of the spectrum. So, if you're always constantly doing it only to feel good, part of it has to be like work, they call it, right? So it's self-care, fun, mixed with the work. The work is the stuff that you kind of have to go do, and you know it, right? So that plays a role, this balance of those opposites. So just like stretch and strength, it's the work with the play, and it's the strict with the art, okay? stand up, guys. Let's do our side body opener. Right foot over, and you can do stronger versions if you're feeling good, you're here. Usually easiest is something like this, okay? Many ways to do it, right? Left leg across, left arm up. Think a little bit more stretch, but it's more length than deep bending, okay? It's a side body opener. See how I kind of pause and reach up. I could bend deeper, but up, all right? Go ahead. Just about 6 to 8, 9 there. If you're just joining, we're doing a standing movement practice. So far, you've only missed hinging, like touching your toes up and high knees and the pull, okay? So you know I like to mix in some things that are quote unquote not yoga. I don't like when people say that, you know. People who say that will be narrow-minded and, you know, slow to change. Let's use all modalities, but make it yoga, mindful, these mental, spiritual, energetic breathing layers. So I'm going to step to the right of my mat. Just be careful. Watch what I'm going to do. I'm going to get low, side step. I'm going to stay on one foot. This is totally fine early. Boom. Now I can get low. I can come up. Now I can go fast or I can slow. Look, if I tend to like fall, see if you can pause for a moment. Okay? You can do things like arms up. Okay? You know how I try to get you to move like a dancer a lot? I'm laterally stepping. I'm pushing off the lateral outside hip, catching this hip, and then pushing back. Okay? You can do simple as like tap the foot, but notice this foot never goes down. Look, an athlete would be like fast, right? I'm applying some of these athletic trainings in more of a wellness approach, because athletes are always trying to optimize body function. And I think we're all trying that to some extent. We want our body to work well. And, you know, we do stuff like this. What do we do like this? You know, our outer hip trainers, but not in like this kind of dynamic form, right? So we've done the leg behind us and the leg in front of us. We did the leg across, and now it's going wide. It's like out, right? So there's our laterals. Now we got to start thinking the twist. This is not, you know, it is kind of classic yoga. They do it in the Kundalini. Now I'm going to keep the legs wide. I'm going to inhale those arms up. Go slow, guys, with this one. Right hand, left leg. Inhale, exhale. Yogis, you got back pain, caution. Bending over and twisting. That's the number one way people tend to hurt their back, right? Golf. Picking up stuff around the house. I want to kind of keep you moving. That's why I'm getting you going right through. Probably do about 5, 6 more movements. I want you to think cardio. I want you to breathe. I still want body awareness. You know, things I've tried to say, like yoga is not adequate. I mean, it's one of the best dynamic practices. Like weightlifting is not nearly good enough for dynamic movement practice. It's obviously not good enough for stretching. And yoga is excellent for both of those, but it's not good enough for cardiovascular. It is not. You can't say it is. You can't say my heart rate gets going enough. I'm sorry, that won't work here. Yoga is really not good enough for cardio. It's really not good enough for like fast movement practice. This is part of that. It's really not good enough for leg bone stimulating exercise, leg. I try to mimic it, but just remember that, okay? We do have weaknesses in what we're doing, all right? And I'm trying to recognize that and apply. Next exercise is the big lateral. Sorry, guys, I have a window pop up here. There we go. All right, so now you were bending over. This one's like a jumping jack. You could do jumping jacks instead. Arms up, watch me here. Arms wide, left toes, left hand. Now, you can't do that. You can do this. As long as the foot is turning out, you see that? Going up here. That's easier. You know, you could do it like this too, right? We've done that. I've had you do it like this. If you want more core, watch. I'm swinging the leg, but I'm also going slow. People with back pain, knees bent is encouraged. If you're just joining, we're doing some different stuff today. We've had quite a few kind of classic practices over the last week and a half. We're doing some different stuff. The body's so complex, right? Some of the traditional movements are only the tip of the biggest iceberg. I love linear. I think it's a good foundation, but we got to think almost like dance, right? Which is coming up even more now. Now it's that same thing, but across. Watch me here. Now I twist pretty easy, guys. I tend to have a very non-restricted body in rotation. So you might just go like forward across a little, right? Or you go feeling good, it's way across, right? It's kind of like you're doing your strap stretching. In the beginning, we were here and we were here, right? Forward. Now, it's like you're doing your half moon or your strap stretching on your back, right? And now we're doing the revolve. You don't have to move your arms. I'm just trying to get you to move more. It's more hips and arms. It's not as much. It's core stabilizing. If you just came in, we did stuff like this, right? We did stuff like this. We're about to go symmetry after this. And then it's lunge. It's squat and then lunge. Get moving that body, guys. So a lot of you might have a cardio practice or a dance practice. You don't need as much of this. That's where you have to know your thing and apply. So someone who's doing like a lot of cardio and movement, you might want to go a little still and make this more slow and strengthening. I tend to lean towards strength in my class. So I'm just basing it off that, what the yoga tendency is. Okay. All right, guys. So this one's a little tighter. There's a big stretch and a big strengthener. So it's symmetry now, right? Tap your toe across. This was the move the upper body, right? And this was a little bit more move the limbs. So now we go chair, forward bend. Watch me here. Deep squat. Forward bend. Deep squat, arms up, back. So body goes up, back, like peak challenge of those legs, please. And then it's weight into toes, big. Your upper body goes forward and down, your legs straight and your weight to your toes. Your upper body and arms go back and up, and you sit the hips low and back. Got it? I'm not even doing it, and I'm kind of starting to sweat, and I don't really sweat that easy. So hopefully you are feeling similar temperature shifts. Get going, guys. What's the beginner? Like 3 to 6, intermediate's like 9, 12. Advanced is like 20 to 30 of these, all on the edge, all progressing, okay? It's supposed to be a little bit tighter, a little less movement, a little more strengthening, a little bit bigger stretch. Mm-hmm. So I had like I did strengthening yesterday, but then I did like movement last night for
really long time. So I'd probably be slowing down, thinking, stretching, because I did movement and strength yesterday. That's me. Where are you at in your weekly, monthly scheduled journey, and how can you apply the practice for your needs?
Okay, get out of there, guys. So now it's back to asymmetry. We're gonna do 2 rounds. I want you to think a little bit more of that dance. We're gonna go lunge. Let's do right foot back first. So let's get that first nice lunge going on. I'm gonna give you sturdy legs now. But watch what we're gonna do, something different here. So big kind of circular motion. Let's start hands on the hips or here. And it's kind of like, you know how we go here, you know, we do here. I want you to get into that like in a complex form. So I'm going right. Now I'm trying not to move my hips, but I'm drawing a circle at the core. We've done this standing. We've done it on the knees a lot. And then you're circling the core. The hips and the legs are staying sturdy. And you're trying to feel your core now. You're trying to slow down for a moment. You know, you can start to get the arms involved, okay, where I'm really swirling in a lunge. Lunge are stable, body is creating instability, core is linking with legs. I'm reaching out, big circles. It's not really pelvic movement. There is some. We're going to do a second round and it's going to look like this. I'm going to move your pelvis, but not yet, okay? Swirl and vortex and dance in your lunge.
I do encourage you to have, like when we do movement practices, some music playing, just to get that vibe going of energy. And music can do some incredible things for your attitude and energy. And that's something that might lack in the Zoom class. Okay, can we do the second side? Step forward, shake it out. You can hold longer. I see some of you switching sides, so I'm just getting the feeling it might be tough. All right, so left foot back, and then it starts with this kind of, you know, say your back hurts, it's this. See how much I'd be moving? I'm just feeling my legs. You know all the deal with the legs. Press the big toes down, pull the belly in so you're not arching the back, and then it's just circling. Too often we don't move the core enough, you know, in a complex form. You do lunge and it's like lateral and you're rotational and you hinge. You might add hinge and rotate, but let's take lunge to a new level of stabilization. Circling at the core. You want to make it difficult. There's a lot of ways to do it, yogis. Just bend your knees deeper, go way slower. You want difficult, go very slow as possible. It almost looks like you're not moving, but you're going in a circle, okay? Smaller movements tend to be more difficult. Just letting you have a go, right? Because it's dance. It's like I don't want to give you too many cues and talk too much. I'm trying to just let you get into it and feel it. It's new. It might be weird. It might not. That's good.
Now, that's, you know, when we do it here, guys, what you just did is this. Look. Now it's going to be a little bit more like midsection, like this, let's say. But ideally, it's more pelvis. So let's go back to the first side, second round of lunge. Now, I could have you do it in Warrior 2, right? I kind of meant to say that. So you could hold another style of lunge, Warrior 2, and do that exact thing, right? Maybe we'll do that actually, see, because we're doing it. But watch me here. I'm in lunge. Now it's pelvic. Look at that. And I'm really getting into it, guys. It's not really the upper body with the focus now. It's the pelvis. Look. Come on now. Get into a pose you're developing skill and ability and awareness in and move in a new way. All right?
I know so many yogis who have a desire to get really strong, and let's call it advanced in yoga. And they've been practicing yoga for so many years and really haven't progressed that much because of the narrow-minded they get trapped in. It's very easy to get caught, trained by a good yoga instructor, and they set these laws and rules for you, and then you can never break them down. I like to call it like dogma in yoga practice. And then they have trouble getting outside their original rules, and it's wrong. All right. So and that's why yoga gets hated on a lot by certain realms of physical fitness. Okay, let's do the second side. Now you're just basically, it's almost like a cat-cow where we do this. You do it all the time here, guys. Look. I'm circling. It's the same stuff, guys, but there's more weight, which means there's going to be sticky. So you're here now with this side. And you can combine them, right? What we just did. That is the most risky, though, for pain. We do stuff like this in Warrior 3 too, right? Eventually, you're circling the upper body. And then you're trying to move your pelvis. This is risky though, just to be clear. You're in a more hinged, this is upright. You are open chain, right? On end ranges, the more we keep going in complexities, the more you are increasing risk of, let's call it injury, okay? So let's keep going, guys. I'm not gonna do the Warrior 2 just for time's sake here, but I do wanna do one last standing exercise. We did this for one-legged. We did this. We did pretty well, but I want a nice static balance. I'm gonna do toe balance squatting. Let's get one last round of our squatting in. Nice and simple. I'm gonna go symmetrical after all this. I lift my heels, I go here, okay? I'm gonna go here. This is gonna seal up our standing practice. A very easy option is to kind of walk around with your heels lifted. More challenging is to start the toe squat. Just notice my upper body doesn't go forward. I go down in, I pause, I try to lift my heels more, and then I come up. I should really feel it here. The ankles, the feet, the calves, the shins, the knees, the thighs, light up like crazy, okay? I've tried to express this idea, I said it in the beginning. The functional exercise now is saying feet, on your feet, posterior chain, pelvic stability, posture work, right? That's like functional exercise 101 for biomechanical body structure. There's nothing to do with cardio. You don't have to go deep, it's not better to go deeper. It is more risky for sure, for knee pain or back. That's why I said just walking around with your heels lifted is a good way you can do this anytime in your house. You take care of it. You strengthen your feet and your back line. It will change how you walk. It will change your posture. So last standing exercise, do a little extra, please. Ideally until failure, and then maybe you give one more go at it. So we did kind of stuff like this. You did your 2 sets of lunges per side. Pretty good there today. When you're done, no rush, standing at the top of your mat. Let's make our way down intuitively, meeting in down dog. I'm gonna take a nice sun salutation. All right, so I'm gonna meet in the dog. You're in the comfort zone now after a lot of kind of awkward stuff today. Or let's just say new exploratory artistic style. So now you're in that first big inversion hold. If you're feeling good, just do headstand or handstand. If you're tired, just do puppy dog or child posture if you need a rest, okay? because we're going to hold here for a few breaths now. Headstand or handstand for my people feeling great. Child pose, puppy dog for my people needing a rest. Down dog in the middle. Full position. Inversion. Breathe deep in and out your nose, please. Come back to your subtle body. Come back to your intentions. After all the busyness of the movements, the standing, the newness, come back to your concentration, your presence, the attention going inward, the calming of the body. Basically, anytime we hold forward bend, down dog, touch your toes, child pose, you can do dolphin, you can forward straddle, you can do big inversion or a soft inversion. That's something that's got to sink in. Inversion is saying like, okay, let's get our inversion done. It's like saying, okay, we need protein in our nutrition. There's many, many sources. Something like that, right? It's kind of filling a part of our well-rounded routine, just like your vegetable in your meal would be. There's a lot of good ones, just depends on what you need. All right, so we're going to go right into it here, yogis. So down dog, when you're ready, headstanders just stay, headstand, handstand. You get another opportunity shortly here. Three-legged dog, boom. So hip flexor stretch, we need that probably. Right leg rises. It's just three-legged dog, open up your hip. I really haven't been teaching this stretch enough. It's fantastic and unique. Palms pressed down, hips up and back, right leg up, open hip. And just take 3-4 breaths. If you're ready to flip your dog, you're more than welcome to. It is also a hip flexor reciprocal inhibition. They are intertwinable. And I know you've been on down dog a while, right? Because we have to go weight bearing on the arms. Now it's like your arms start to beg for mercy. All right, inhale, right leg high, no rush, right knee, forehead, step right foot inside right thumb, low lunge, lunge. Seal your back heel, right hand down, side angle, left arm up. Breathe. If you want more, top arm forward. Push your right knee into your arm into your knee. Static hold, 3 to 4 breaths. Turn your chest up, lengthen your side bodies. You want more? Both arms forward, hold position. There should be a big element of stretch, a big element of strength. Back heel seal down so we get your adductor, yogis. Inner thigh should be working on back leg, really both legs, right? One is more adductor magnus, very medial. One is more gracilis membranosus, posterior medial. All right, big inhale, hands down, right foot back. Plank position, go slow. You're more than welcome to hold longer. Plank position. All right, so plank hold. What are you working on? I'm not doing like vinyasa style. We did a lot of movement. What are you working on? You can hold the handstand again instead, or three-legged plank makes it way more core. You can do push-ups. You can do right foot, left hand balance plank. You can knock your heels to a side. I'll give you a moment to kind of explore a type of plank that's feeling good, but also needed right now. Easier would be knee plank. Really challenging would be bent arm plank, bending your elbows halfway down and holding. And then you meet back in down dog, boom. Three-legged dog, left leg up and open. It's supposed to be extended weight bearing on the arms. Left leg up and open your hip. Some of us staying here. I think a couple of us flip the dog. I'll give you another few breaths. You know what to do here. I'm not even going to give you the cues. Main thing you're looking for is like right armpit dump here. So if your left leg lifts, we tend to just like drop our left arm and get lazy. So you kind of lift up there to provide joint support. You're pressing your palms down, lengthening through the neck, hips up and back. Should be a very difficult moment, or few minutes on the arms, right? It never really lets up, not even in side angle, right? So inhale, left leg high, please take your time. Left foot slowly steps forward inside left thumb, side angle. Your left hand is on the block or the floor outside your left foot, and you turn your chest to the right, right arm high. Remember, we didn't do the warrior two. Now we're in the open hip lunge. This is taking care of our open hip. So find it, yogis. Breathe. Top arm could reach forward, palm turns down, chest turns up, side body's lengthened, shoulders back and down. For really strong, both arms reach forward. Yeah, you could put the hand on the knee. That's always it's a modified version. It's like putting your knees down in plank, putting your elbows down. Side angle, right? I didn't mention binds here. Bind would be a really nice shoulder opener. Okay, now we're gonna go weight bearing on the arms again. Just a short hold there, 5 breaths, right? 30 seconds. Hand down, left foot back, high plank. Maybe you come down to forearms if your wrists need a breather. What do you wanna work on? You wanna do forearm balance? We're in kind of an open mode. Everyone's a regular. You wanna do dolphin hold for your shoulders? Do you want to do forearm plank hold? That's shoulder as well, but it's going to be a little bit more core, right? Plank. Do you want to do a side plank here? We just came from side angle. Up to you. One more big solid round of our plank work here, please. All right. We are going to go into back bends. I know I'm not having you do cobras today. You can add those if you'd like. A lot of times I'll go like a whole week sometimes without doing cobras, but I'm doing a lot of things that are like it, right? That are very, very similar, same category. Lunge can be a cobra. Same thing, just one leg is forward. Pigeon can be a cobra. Standing back bend can be a cobra. Camel, bow, wheel, they can all be a cobra type release and strengthener. So last few moments here, guys. A lot of you are taking rest. That's good, right? We need to practice till failure. It's the only way you're probably going to get stronger, guys. I've tried to express this idea. You must train your mind to persist when it gets difficult. The mind must rise above the body. You will not get stronger if you leave every time it gets a little struggle in the mind and body. All right. All right, yogis. So listen, let's make our way down to our chest. Let's take a quick stretch. We just did something like this. It's kind of like a second round. It's a chest opener. You were here, right? We did something like this, something like this. Laying on the chest, let's get our big chest opener. This is one I do very regularly. I'm not really teaching enough as of lately. We did do it on Sunday, but not many of you were here. Right arm out, roll to the left, slow down for a moment. After weight bearing on arms, stretch the arms a little bit, right? More is here. Come back to subtle body awareness, breathing, meditation. A big aspect of yoga is learning to take a meditative stance, and you can apply that in positions, right? There's kind of a joke in yoga. People who can't meditate call running meditation, right? It's kind of like people that don't like to do cardio call yoga cardio. They are all very different, yogis. Meditation is slowing down the mind. It's focusing your attention inward, settling the body. When you're done there, can we do the second side? I'll give you another, minute per side here. Stretch your tighter arm a little bit more. Slow down again. So yogis, what we're going to work on today here, I mentioned it, is the bow. We've been doing frog lately. We've been doing a lot of locusts. We always do a lot of cobras. So I was going to do a little bit of bow work, but bow is a beginner posture. If you need a substitute, bridge is always our main substitute for bow. If you really need a stretchy substitute, camel is another exact same body form. Bridge would be a little bit more glute and lower body and back line. Bridge, bow is where we bring it into your middle back. It's called thoracic, right? So if you have trouble with bow, you can do locust, camel, or bridge, but we do those more often. And I want to work in something we haven't been doing as much. So symmetrical back bend now. If you can, reach back and you're going to bend your heels to your butt. I just opened up your shoulder a lot to try to get there easier. Now, remember, grabbing the outside of the foot is first krama in this type of bow. It is different in other bows. I'm reaching back, trying to grab the tops of my feet. I do not let the feet or knees go too wide. It is a slower, stickier pose, a hold now. I start to kick. The kick does drive the pose, but I do simultaneously lift the chest. All right. I don't kick too hard. I try to kick in a way where I can create length through my body and breathe. It's not an easy posture to breathe in skillfully. All right. So try to find a nice healthy medium of activation, but calming as always, and then hold position for another good 15, 20 seconds. Camel would be more stretchy, bridge would be more strengthening on average. So they are literally all the same exact form. Okay, now listen, you got to release that slow. Don't release like a slingshot. Take a little rest. We're going to do 3 rounds here. There are creative styles, one-legged, so you could do half locust, half bow. There are moving styles, locust, bow, switching sides. There are bow rolling to the side, side bow. I'm not going to really show you that because they don't need to do that. I want simple things. We've done a lot of fancy movements upright, so I'll keep it simple here. Second round of bow when you're ready, please. We're just having a back bending practice, just so we're clear what is happening. I mentioned other things you could possibly do depending on your needs, making an intelligent decision. But we've been doing the bow, haven't done it much recently at all. And it's a really nice posture, particularly for your middle back muscles. The kick drives the pose. We're not pulling the heels to the butt. The heels are going away from the butt, up and back. All right. So a lot of you are in your second round. Have a good solid go. Ideally about 30 seconds a minute, like a plank hold. Looks good. Second krama is to externally rotate your shoulders so your palms go down and out, and then you grab inside the ankles. You might be able to get a lot deeper in your bow, activate your back more, but you have to be careful because people tend to go up and out. So they hyper internally rotate, which I'm asking you to go at. Look at the difference. When you're done, no rush. I'm just going to demonstrate so you can see. This is what I'm asking you to do if you wanted to try the second bind. But a lot of people do this. Do you see the difference in the shoulders? It's very easy to see from this angle. So I say turn your palms down and out. You can't say thumb up because that's the same in both. If my palms turn down and out, look at the open chest. If I go down, if I go up and out, look at the shoulders. You see this versus this? I want you here, not here. Okay, I'm only going to have you do 3 rounds. We're kind of slowing down, getting into this. I want that middle back strengthening. What's the main thing we do for upper body rounding posture? It's called thoracic extension. All right, it's your middle 14 joints of your spine working in back bend. Bridge doesn't really do that. Camel doesn't really do that in a strengthening way. So get going. Last round here, please. Some of you are done. That's cool. 2 rounds is adequate. 5 rounds is big day. Some of you are switching style of the pose. That's cool too, right? Now, that's a lot on your back. If you're new to it, I try to do a lot of moving warm-ups and stretch out hip flexors and chest. And to be able to get there, it's kind of like a big moment in class, right? So you want to take a moment to just come to probably child pose after that, just to kind of soften. Most of you look done there from what I can see. So you take a moment, you come back to calming, grounding, centering after intensity, strain, fire. Now, those 2 things in a row were all shoulder stretches. I want to come back to one more. This is classic Hatha Yoga, guys. We did movement a lot in the beginning. First 20, 30 minutes were all movement. Now it's back to like inversion weight bearing arms. If you can do headstand, I want extra focus on this once in a while. We haven't been given enough focus. I'm setting up a November challenge for myself. I was thinking about offering it to everyone to follow if you want, but I'm going to do inversion every day. I'm also going to do reading every day, meditation every day, a couple other things. I'm trying to figure out something that's practical and doable. But I want to do another inversion. That's really the goal. Hold down dog is child pose, puppy dogs in the middle, headstand, handstand, hold. It's like you're getting another weight bearing on your arms. It's like you're doing another arm exercise. Say you were doing a workout routine at the gym. Another arm exercise. Easiest is like legs up the wall. If you did child pose, and down dog, your legs never went up. So maybe if you've been working hard today and it's been too much, you put your legs up on the couch or the wall. I'm going to try to give you like 2 minutes, 3 minutes max. Headstand, handstand is big fire, power inversion, forearm balance. Okay. So get into it, guys. Kind of a free practice, ideally inverted body. Hold position, meditate and breathe. You're getting good at headstand with the body mechanics and awareness. Then you go to your breathing practice. I want to remind you, the best Kriya breathing I can do, the slowest and longest, is headstand. I can't breathe that well in shoulder stand. I can't breathe that well in dog. I can't breathe that well in seated meditation or child pose. The best elongated, slow breathing I can do is in headstand. I don't know what it is. I really don't know what the mechanics are of why I can breathe the best in headstand. I can inhale for like 30, 40 seconds. I can hold my breath for a really long time. I can exhale for like 20 to 30 seconds, all in one. I am not sure why. What makes that me able there? I literally tried to do, for so long I was getting good at yoga. My intention was breathing in practice. I would measure the quality of my practice by my breathing. And it changes just like everything, like some days I can really breathe deep and smooth and clear and stay focused on it. Some days I can't. I've tried in every pose to breathe skillful and know which postures are more difficult to breathe in. And headstand is the posture I can breathe the best in. You know, there's a reason that the ancient yogis called that the king of yoga poses. Shiva said there's like 8 million yoga poses. And there's a reason they named that the king. All right, so I want to keep going. It looks like a lot of you are finishing up, but there's a few, you know, a couple of you still holding, man. You keep going. And I want to do a big stretch now, just to kind of like calm you, right? After the strain, after we did the first arm bearing stuff, I laid you on your chest and did the chest stretch. I want to do the inner thigh stretch. There was no, you know, triangle. We did the outer hips pretty good. I want to do the frog position. It is a unique stretch that I pretty much do every time I stretch that I don't really teach enough. Now, some of you in your inversion, you keep going, right? I just kind of move forward so you can get right to it. This is one that's probably good to have padding. Yoga blanket, right? This is the bilateral adductor. It's a really powerful stretch, and it's the good mimics here are just butterfly konasana. But this is way more powerful. It's like weight bearing. Okay, so my knees go wide, and then here it is. All right, so let's meditate here. We've done a lot of movement. We've done a good amount of strengthening. Let's start to get a little bit more stretchy. I have been lacking teaching you guys stretching. Let's do it. Knees wide. Here I go. If you need easier, just in case you weren't clear what I was saying, this is easier, guys. It's very similar. Okay, you're kind of pushing your knees open. Another really great way to do this, straight leg, is this. My butt is against the wall. If you never do this, guys, this is a fantastic release. I don't teach wall yoga because a lot of us don't have a wall. All right, a few more breaths here, please. There is a dynamic tension stretch that we do in more intermediate advanced training, just in case you wanted to see, guys. You know, this isn't something I never get to teach, right? Because it's not really, it's for people really pushing the practice. But it looks like this, right? I'm in like a table, legs out. So I'm here in the towel, and I pull back. So it's a dynamic resisting straddle and then an active bilateral dynamic straddle. So this is another way that I never get to instruct, that I used to train a lot. I've had you do stuff like this, right? That's one of my favorite ways to train the groin as well. But just in case you wanted to go crazy or something, it's a sliding straddle. Your spine does stay long, okay? Doing your frog with both knees on a slippery surface is also going to be more, right? So you're using a slippery surface to create more stretch. So I feel this a lot more than when my knees were on the mat, okay? This stretch isn't that extreme for me anymore, right? So I need that like slippery. Okay, so when you're done there, a lot of you look done. I know, it's a big one. Let's slowly sit up. And to end practice here, we'll do a seated thing. I'm not going to do the abs. We did a lot on Tuesday. You're more than welcome to. I think abs are overdone, overrated kind of. I want to do a quick seated thing here for our rotational hips. We did some standing, a little in side angle, but the side angle is tightening.
That left ankle atop the right knee, you see that? And then boom, it's seated figure four. All right? I use my arms behind me to lift my chest, and I take a couple breaths. Try to think of this like a chest stretch too. Arms behind you, chest lifting up. If you wanted a little extra, you could reach under and grab here. This will create rounding posture, so beware of that. You could do stuff like this too if you want to go big. Dordvas, okay? Double pigeon is very similar to this. I'm also kind of pulling my knee back here. I'm just stretching intuitive right now. So I took the foot, instead of pulling it across to the right, now I bring it left and pull it back. Right? That's like a lizard. This is a pigeon, this is a lizard. Okay? I'm gonna switch sides. We're just stretching our outer hip intuitively now, guys. You did your inner thigh, now we're going outer. This is going to be much more active, right? I'm trying to engage my leg. I'm attempting to sit up straight and pull the shin up and back. Just a form we do a lot less of. That's really a fantastic type of stretch. Another good 20, 30 seconds. All right, yogis, so we did a couple hip stretches. This next one is a hip stretch, but it's that closing twist. A little different today, guys. We do seated twist more than enough. We do on the back more than enough. If you want to do one, no worries. I'm going to do what we call the Kundalini Twist in yoga. It's a nice one. It's a little bit more of your hip rotation compound, spinal rotation, right? So I'm going to bring my feet nice and wide. You see this? My feet are wider than my mat. I'm going to knock my knees to the right. Look at those angles here. It's hard to see, but from this angle, I'm like this, right? So I'm like this, and then boom, I'm going to walk my hands around to the right and back, and I'm here. It's a really big twist, yogis. I pull my chest forward like a cobra. I turn my chest to the right. I even look to the right. And I really want to breathe deep, okay? So just to be clear, just in case this one can be a little confusing, you're here, you're here. If it were standing, I would look something like this, right? Same body form. Go back to your breathing, please, your intention, body settling.
And then we will switch sides. This is a very big twist. Take it slow. We did some good twists in the beginning. We did a little bit of kind of rotational, open hip and on the chest. And it's been a little while since we did big twists. This is, like I said early in practice, twisting tends to be the way in like complex movement that people tend to hurt their bodies. I wouldn't say in weightlifting because they don't do too much twisting in weightlifting. They do like really heavy deadlifts is like the #1 way people hurt themselves, back and hernia, knees. But in yoga, it's like twisted. So make sure you're elongating. It's almost like a cobra in the chest. and you're turning. Remember, it's extension and rotation is the postural rehab. So I want you to take another 3 breaths. Frog was our big inner thigh opener. Seated figure 4, outer hip. Bow was big front body opener. That was the big twist. All right. I'd like it maybe to either do a really comfort zone position. When you're done, you either sit up, touch your toes, go slow, please. Happy baby, plow, something in that realm, just very kind of symmetrical and relatively easy. This is last posture of class, guys. I got 9:57. All right. So one last little pose. Let's close with the peak mindful calming position. So some classic Hatha Yoga stuff, inversions, bow, side angle, and then some not so traditional yoga in the beginning and maybe here in the end too, right? So let's seal it all in. Closing meditation, please. Be as still as possible, as quiet as possible, as relaxed in the mind and body as possible. No rush.